welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany and I am a brand new homeschooling mom to two kiddos, Bernie age 5 and Desi age 3, and this is the salter side of life. Welcome back if you've been here before. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I started this channel as my way of paying it forward to the online homeschooling community that helped me so much when I first got started researching homeschooling for our family. So I'm hoping that my videos make it a little bit easier for you. Now today's video is about books. It's a new series that I'm doing on children's books, and if you had a chance to catch my Black children's book video, I do have that posted on YouTube as well. Today is all about interactive children's books. So Bernie and Desi love to sit back, relax, have a little them time and listen to mommy read a story. But let's face it, they really love it when there's a book that they can get involved with. Books that have them turn the book upside down, that have them blow on the book, that have them scream at the book. Those are books that really get them going. We have some favorites that we like to share with you, so I'm hoping that you find something new to put in your library. All right, let's get into it. So I have 4 categories of books for us today. The first category that we're gonna look at are books that have you shaking, turning, touching to go through the story. And of course, we have to start with Hervé Tillet. You can't talk about interactive children's books without talking about Hervé Tillet. Now, I found his books years ago, and they are some of the favorites of the kids. Tillet's books take children through the book with directions to touch and say, sometimes yell different things, depending on the topic of the book. Now, in our library, we have a couple of different books. The first one is Mix It Up, and it's all about color mixing. And so when you open it up, you can see we've used it quite a bit. But it goes through different directions regarding color mixing, and it really gets the kids involved in predicting what colors are going to be mixed based on the directions. And this book was really neat because it actually inspired Bernie to go and get paints, go get crayons, and do his own color mixing as he went through the book. The next book is Say Zoop. Now just be prepared. This book is a lot louder than any other books you might have in your library. And so this book has kids saying different words, saying different sounds based on these dots in the book. And I mean, he gives some directions to be a little bit more quiet, but let's face it, kids want to be loud, they want to make a lot of noise, and so this one is a favorite of both Bernie and Desi. Now, the last book, Press Here, is actually the first book in his collection that we got. And this book is all about doing different things, starting again with this little dot. And so it gets more complex and complicated as you go through the book, but the concept is simple: touching, pointing, following different directions based on a little dot. Tap to Play is an adorable book where children help Blip, this little guy, win the game that he lives inside. So it's kind of like he lives inside a video game and he's trying to jump up there onto that bridge. And so I particularly like this game, not game, or I guess you could call it a game, but I particularly like this book because the pages are so thick. Now, I don't know if anybody else has, a kid that's a little bit harder on books, but my Desi is definitely hard on books. And so having the pages that are a little bit thicker and more sturdy, especially when you're tilting a book, when you're shaking it, really make sure that you're able to preserve your book as well. These next 2 books are just 2 books out of a ton that this writer has out there. Britta Teckentrup. She is a well-established author. She has some amazing children's books. And the first one that we ever got was Get Out of My Bath. That was the book that introduced us to her. And then the next one is Don't Wake Up the Tiger. And so we'll just take a little peek inside of Get Out of My Bath. And we actually got this book randomly in the library. Both of my kids like to just dump books into our library cart, and this is one of the ones that they dumped in. And basically it's about a little elephant playing in the tub, and you're tilting her all over the tub and tilting the book, and it's a lot of fun until she starts to get some unexpected guests in the tub with her. And so this book was just super cute and fun. They asked me to read it to them multiple times. And so that's when we really started to look at Britta Teckentrup's books and grabbed Don't Wake Up the Tiger. Now in Don't Wake Up the Tiger, children follow different directions to help keep the tiger asleep so that all of these animals can sneak past the tiger. And it's a really cute book that ends up with them having like a little birthday party for the tiger. But again, kids following directions, interacting with the book. And again, it involves animals as well, which my two really like. The next category that we have are books that move, pop up, and transform on the page. So we're gonna take a look at what we have in our library for that. Okay, y'all, if you don't get any other books from today's book list, these are the two that I would say to prioritize because they are so stinking cool. So someone shared this dinosaur book here in a homeschool group online that I'm a part of. And when I went on Amazon and took a look at them, I ended up getting the dinosaur one for Bernie, and then the ocean one for Desi. And these books are so amazing. I'm gonna show you why in a second. Bernie and Desi were absolutely mesmerized when they saw these books for the first time. So I'll start with the dinosaur book. Let me get that ocean one completely out of the way. So I'm gonna move it down. These books are so cool and they move as you turn the pages. I mean, how neat is that? So it's a trick of the eye. I read a little bit about phototicular technology. Basically, as you can see, there's some information on there. It's not just a really cool book with photos, but it's also got a lot of great information in it. But basically, it's a trick of the eye that makes this happen, where strips of the actual picture are weaved together, and then it appears to move as you turn the pages. And you can see you could turn it fast and they'll go really fast, or you could do it a little bit slower. And my kids were just, I mean, seriously, they were like, what is this wizardry? Because it really is just the coolest thing. And so this is the dinosaur one, and they have quite a few pictures inside. Now I'll show you the ocean book. This is the one for Desi, and again we have the pictures moving. And again, lots of good information in them. There's some tips down here for using your phototicular book. And they have a lot of different topics. So I just started off with the ocean and the dinosaur one, but they have so many topics for these books that we're just basically going to complete the collection, because both of my kids, again, absolutely love these. It's almost like watching TV or video while you're reading as well. Another series of books with lots of different themes are books by Robert Sabuda. Now, he is a incredibly talented and gifted pop-up book author, and we actually found his work for the first time with a dinosaur book that Bernie has that I cannot find for some reason while doing this video. I'm sure it's somewhere in our house, but because Bernie enjoyed his so much, I grabbed the movable Mother Goose for Desi, and it's not just, you know, your normal pop-up book. So these books have beautiful large pop-ups, and basically they go through the different Mother Goose nursery rhymes, and as you can see, the pop-ups are really intricate. You know, it's not, you know, your traditional pop-up book. But the neat thing about these books is that they also have nice smaller pop-ups on every page. And like, this is Jack and Jill rolling down a hill. You know, it's not, you know, you get to open up all of these teeny tiny surprises, which Desi really, really likes, because she's all about little things that can fit into her hand that are really fun. And so this book is just full of nursery rhymes with really neat pop-ups. And I actually found this one on thriftbooks.com, and it was only $3.99, which is crazy for how neat this book is. Actually, one more note on the Robert Sabuda books before I move on. I mentioned before that these pop-ups are pretty intricate, and I will say that they probably aren't the best books to have as easy access without an adult eye if you have a smaller child. Like, these are just little pieces of paper that are, you know, folded and woven together. You know, there are lots of little legs and pieces here that could come apart. So if you're really trying to hold on to this book, I'd be really careful about letting little hands have it without you being around. We learned that the hard way with Bernie's dinosaur Robert Sabuda book, because one of our T-Rex arms was ripped off inside the book. This was another book that we found randomly in one of our library trips that the kids just kind of threw into our cart. Things that go away. And I really wasn't prepared for how pretty this book was going to be. So I'm just going to open it up. It uses drawings on transparent pages to show how things in life change and go away. And it's a beautiful book about how life is constantly moving. And so the drawings on the transparent pages are very cleverly done so that when you flip it to another page, it actually completes the picture on the other side of the page. And so again, this one was just a really nice surprise of what we found in our library book haul. Category number 3 are puzzle and thinking books. So we have quite a few books that have Bernie and Desi trying to solve a problem, using their inferencing skills, or maybe just trying to spot something on the page. So let's take a look at those. So this is an adorable book where an octopus forms himself into different animal shapes. Now, we first saw this book on Vooks, V as in violin, OOKS. And that this is an app that shows children's books as animated videos. And so it's a nice app to have. We use it quite regularly, but it's just as enjoying to read this book as it is to watch it being animated. And so you can see the octopus is twisting itself into different shapes. And when you get to the end of the book, it invites the child to go back through the book and look for the 8 arms and 2 eyes of the octopus that were in each of the animal shapes that it twisted itself into. So this was a cute book. It is a board book. You know how much I love books that cannot be easily destroyed because of Desi. And so 14 animals that are definitely not an octopus is one that we enjoy. All right, Crash, Splash, or Moo. Bernie thought this book was so much fun. It's set up like a game show with an announcer. And there's your little announcer down there. It's a game show. And it has these 2 contestants, a clam and a cow, and they put them in different situations. and the child has to guess, or stunts, not situations, different stunts, gives it a little bit more danger, but it puts the clam and the cow in different stunts, and the child has to guess whether at the end of this there's going to be a crash, a splash, or a moo. And I really like this book for Bernie because we're working on his inferencing skills and him being confident in sharing his opinion about what might happen in a given situation. And so this was a really great book for him to practice that. And then at the end, it's not bad because you get like a really cool golden banana as your prize. So Crash, Splash, Moo was one that Bernie really enjoyed, and I liked it because it was practicing a skill that we were working on. Spot the Cat was a book that we found recently at the library, and this is a black and white book about a little boy whose cat, Spot, gets out of the house and gets lost. And so it's similar to kind of a Where's Waldo type book where your child is trying to spot the cat throughout the city as the cat goes on its adventures. And I have to say that there is a good mix of difficulty when it comes to the pictures that are in the book. So some of them the cat is more easily spotted, some of them it's a little bit harder. So there's the cat right up there in this part, but it helps your child not to get too frustrated as they're going through the book. But it is still pretty challenging because it is in black and white. But Bernie, being a 5-year-old, almost 6, was still able to find the cat in every one of these pictures. Our next book is Mother Goose Picture Puzzles. Now, Desi's speech therapist loved that we had this book for her because it builds vocabulary and also encourages the child to complete sentences with the correct word, which if you've had a child go through speech therapy, you know that that's a regular exercise that you go through with your child to improve their speaking ability. And so when you take a look at it, you'll see that it has different nursery rhymes where photos take the place of the actual words, and then they also tell you what the photos are as you go through it. Now, this was really great for Desi because, we were able to work on skills from her therapy session, but we did it in a very comfortable way because she knows and loves nursery rhymes. So I'm always trying to find things that the kids are very interested in to work on a skill or work on a concept so that they're more engaged and more comfortable with what we're doing. Our last category of books are books that give you activities to do on your own, or maybe a different way to look at an everyday activity that you already do. Let's take a look. Libby Loves Science is a book that I highlighted in my Black Children's Books video, but it's also a great interactive book. So Libby Loves Science follows a little girl named Libby who is a part of the science club in her school with her 2 friends. And so these 2 friends are coming up with experiments with Libby for a fall festival booth that they have at their school fall festival. And the neat thing about this book, as you probably saw on the last page, is that it actually gives you directions to complete experiments on your own. And I think there's probably about 4 or 5 in the book. I'm just gonna flip through pretty quickly. There's a giant bubbles experiment, a fluffy slime experiment, a bottle rocket experiment, and then at the end there is an ice cream experiment where it teaches you how to make ice cream. So with Bernie loving science the way that he does, this was a perfect book for us. How to Read a Story is a cute book that takes children through the steps of reading a story. So you don't really think about how you read a story, but because you just do it, and you take your kids on that journey without necessarily explaining it. But that's exactly what this book does. So the book emphasizes the fun of reading, even simple things like the actual opening of the book to begin reading it. It talks about overcoming any struggles a child may have while reading, like sounding out words you don't know or pointing at the words while you read. The book even talks about reading with others and making sure to hold the book so that others can see the illustrations as well. So the very last book that we have today is The Crayons Christmas. So if you are a fan of The Day the Crayons Quit, then I would definitely suggest this book for you. It comes with envelopes that are filled with different games, cards, activities that your child can complete while reading the book. Now, we got this for Christmas last year, and we actually did it on the days leading up to Christmas, and it was so much fun. So they have different scenarios of the crayons doing things to get ready for Christmas or getting packages leading up to Christmas. And so this one is for the peach crayon, and his parents sent him a letter with some clothes. So here's the peach crayon's letter, and then you get a little peach crayon, and then they have different clothes for the peach crayon. You can see that we've already taken them out because we were playing with it last year. And so this was a really fun book. Both of my kids enjoyed it. This is another little box where the kids are unloading Christmas ornaments. There was a little more. There's something in here. Oh, somebody has a recipe card for how to make Dad's world famous top secret gluten-free Christmas cookies and hot cocoa recipe. So there are 6 activities included in this book. If you're looking for a fun book for the holidays, then I would definitely recommend The Crayons Christmas. Those are the interactive books that we have in our library. I hope that you found some that piqued your interest that you think would be great for your own kids. So what interactive books do you have already? Am I missing any titles? Head down into those comments and let me know what you have in your own library. We're always looking for more books. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give me a like, a little thumbs up. Share it with those who you think might also find this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you're able to see the next time I put out content. Now, my next book list video will be out in September, and we are going to be talking about dinosaur books. And if you know my kids, especially Bernie, you know that we have all things dinosaur and definitely a ton of dinosaur books. So we will have a lot to share with you guys in September as well. Until next time, be blessed.